Oh my gosh, my nemesis. Freaking Obstagoon! Oh, dude. This is the one thing the whole team does not want to see. Who's still running Obstagoon in 2024? We're in an Annihilape meta. Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today I will be revealing the team I used to hit Legend, and this team has been incredible for me. So I used it a little bit earlier this season before Annihilape was released, and then I used it this past Friday when it was released for the Great League rotation, and I climbed over 200 points in just 5 sets, straight positives all the way throughout. And I continued to climb after that. I played literally maybe about a day's worth of sets afterward, and I climbed easily another 250 plus points, and I even made it onto the leaderboard on 64th last night. So honestly, this team is disgustingly strong. So it is Jellicent with Lickitung safe swap and Bastion in the back. And honestly, I don't know what the deal is, but a lot of people are still disrespecting how strong Bastion is in this current meta, and it just paid off really well. I thought Annihilape would make things a little bit harder, but turns out it's actually not that bad. Jellicent obviously is fantastic into Poliwrath, but it still does great into Annihilape, and the most important part is Lickitung safe swap. Pretty much always draws out the fighter, whether it's Poliwrath or Annihilape, and Lickitung is just so strong. It has a lot of ability to keep the matchup close against both Poliwrath and Annihilape, or sometimes force them to spend a shield. For the battles I'm about to showcase, it's going to be my last 3 sets that I played. Before we get into the battles, I want to give a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you'd like private one-on-one coaching, scrims against me, some of my league guides and strategies ahead of time, or even tune into my live stream battles, feel free to sign up through the Patreon link down below. Just like when I made a run for Legend, even after Legend when I was playing this team, pretty much went positive in all my sets, including these next 3. So these are playing against some of the best players in the world, and you can tell based on some of the gameplay. So they catch a double resistance Shadow Ball, which is not great for me, but I still have the Bastion. And Shadow Dragonair is an interesting one. You resist all the charge attacks on the Jellicent, assuming you're running the standard moveset on the Dragonair. But it actually keeps things pretty close against not only Jellicent, but the Lickitung and Bastion as well. Bastion actually has the ability to lose to Shadow Dragonair. So that being said, they actually have a Lanturn in the back. And Lanturn is actually a pretty solid core break for a team. Beats Jellicent, beats Bastion, has plenty of play into the Lickitung as well. So I'm just going to aggressively swap to my Lickitung at this point in time because I know that it's going to have a lot of value, and I just don't want to give this Dragonair too much farm and energy. Alright. The kitty cat is protesting. I don't know why, but here we are. Okay. So, yeah, I decided to shield the Thunderbolt. It's going to be one of the harder hitting moves for sure that the opponent can throw remaining. End up throwing the Body Slam, and then now we have plenty of health on the Jellicent. They're probably going to bait me with a Surf, but I'm pretty much at back-to-back Surf myself, and my opponent recognized it, and yeah, quits out. Alright, Wigglytuff is actually a pretty rough one. Not only is it a core breaker for my Jellicent, but also my Lickitung, and I really can't afford to stay in. I mean, I haven't really tried it yet, but it just does. I don't think it's going to pan out much. Lickitung at least can tank the Charm a little bit better, and then in comes a Talonflame. This is actually really bad for me because not only, I mean, Talonflame is one thing, right? Does okay into Lickitung, but the problem is they have a Wigglytuff in the lead with a Talonflame in the back. In all likelihood, they have a Bastion counter as their third. So knowing that that's a high likelihood puts me in a pretty tough spot because so that's why I come in Bastion. Got to utilize it somehow, but this does mean that eventually I had to bring Jellicent into Wigglytuff, which is what we have right now. So as expected, they have a Whiscash in the back, so pretty rough. Obviously, if Bastion was in the lead, it would be a completely different story, and I did notice that quite a few teams are weak to Bastion in the lead, but you know, that's kind of the risk you take. My team's super weak to Wigglytuff in the lead, you know, so sometimes the alignment just doesn't really favor you in terms of what you see. And Whiscash, generally speaking, Jellicent has a decent matchup, but with that much health remaining, there's no shot, especially because we're on even shields. Another Shadow Dragonair. So I think this time I might not throw the Shadow Ball right away, expecting a catch, but it looks like my opponent does throw their move right away. So that's pretty good for me. I'm overfarming a little bit, and then I just end up throwing the Shadow Ball. I thought they were going to catch, but they don't. And then they no shield too, which is kind of interesting. And Skarmory is actually fantastic into the Lickitung, so I always just stay in if they do come in Skarmory. Weaken it quite a bit. Lickitung beats a lot of Bastion's counters, so it's actually fine to have in the back. Like I said, like beats Whiscash as well. I'm going to shield up the Scald because actually Scald's going to do a decent amount of damage. Get kind of lucky on the non-debuff. I like to go straight Body Slam. Yes, you go for the Power Whip. If they no shield, it's just game over. But if they do shield, it makes your life a little bit harder. So that being said, I like to go just for the slightly safer play. And they're going to start shielding either way, right? So they're going to start shielding Body Slam. They know it's a Body Slam, but they have to preserve the health on this Whiscash if they want to do anything meaningful with it. But, you know, you could just go straight Body Slam and you'll be okay. Unless you get, like, debuffed a ton. And I wasn't. So I got really lucky on the Scald debuffs here. They're going to continue to debuff me and throw Scald. But we're in a pretty okay spot. Yeah, at this point in time, there's just not much I could do. And they're going to quit out. All right, Azumarill in the lead. The whole team's pretty good into Azumarill. Even if it's a Hydro Pump, Azumarill, Bastion still has some play. They say Sableye. There's just no way they can win Switch here unless they commit shields and you don't. But I'm just going to match shields. If they shield, I'm going to shield. That being said, they did shield. So I'm going to shield. And there's actually a lot of value on this Lickitung because it has fantastic play into the Azumarill as well. So keeping this fairly healthy is not a bad idea. They double shield. Kind of wild. Was not expecting that. So because of that, I decided to just let it go. And then they go for another foul play. Now I'm going to double shield. I could farm up a decent amount at this point in time. And I'm going to just throw... Maybe could have licked all the way down, but I was kind of losing track of the counts, and I figured there's still a decent amount of health to do some damage. And they have a Trevenant in the back, so that's fantastic for me. Because, yeah, we're doing so much damage to this, and shields down Trevenant just does not have that much play into Bastiodon. Yeah, this is just over. And the opponent knows it. Alright, so overall, still very positive. I think 3-1 in this set. Lickitung lead is pretty brutal for sure, but we draw out the Poliwrath. That's what's really important with this team. Pretty much, it's very unlikely they don't come in their fighter into Poliwrath if they have one. Or sorry, into Lickitung if they have one on your Stay Swap. They go straight Scalds. And most importantly here is I'm going to preserve my shield advantage. And then take out this Poliwrath before they can swap out and pivot out. Because if you take it out right away, they either they could just, you know, come in quickly with the Lickitung. This is an okay situation. I'm up with shields to have some play, but I do have to shield the potential digs. Shield one dig, fantastic. Could be another dig. I might have lost count by one, but I think they were at dig. They just baited with Aerial Ace. You know, maybe I could have let that go in hindsight once I realized I started shielding. But yeah, this is a little bit tough because they end up getting a dig off. And I'm closing in on Power Whip range. I need to land at least one Stone Edge to make this possible for me to take outs. But I'm pretty sure they're going to get me into Power Whip range. And yeah. And catching Power Whip is not really the ideal play either. So it's kind of a tough situation. So kind of a close one. But that last one kind of depended on a 50-50 call. So we go 3-2. Still positive though. In the leaderboard ELO range. So in my opinion, I'll take anything positive even if it's just a 3-2. But... this is when we go really on a tear. Now, like I said, these are my last three sets. Ignore the timestamp. It was kind of late at night, so maybe I'm not making the best plays here or there. But again, Azumarill, fantastic. I like to just throw a Shadow Ball and swap out. Now they reveal the Hydro Pump, which is actually pretty interesting. So that provides a lot of info for me. So that way I know that my Bastion is definitely going to have to shield, likely in the back end if it does match up in that situation. Oh, what's up, Cran? You want to set up? All right, and so I'm gonna hard pivot over to my Bastion. They have a Lickitung in the back, probably kind of weak to Bastion as their third Pokemon, because they do have a Hydro Pump Azumarill. They do come in Azumarill, so this is pretty good for me. I know they have Hydro Pump, so I had to respect it, but even if they're being with Play Rough, it's a decent amount of energy. And we go straight for the Stone Edge. I don't want the bubble damage to add up. This is still a pretty good matchup for Bastion, as long as I'm shielding the Hydro Pump. And then they actually have a Alolan Sandslash. So yeah, maybe some funky plays on my end. I don't know. I had a decent amount of energy, so I kind of want to get rid of. Also, even though it's resisted, the lick damage is neutral and still really adding up quite a bit. And they end up shielding a Bison, which is also fantastic for me. And then they also, them shielding the Bison did surprise me, but I guess kind of makes sense. Okay, so we are going to leave with a move, and then I come in Bastion. I was trying to swap over. It looked like my game lagged or I overtapped. I don't know. Either way, my gameplay is to hope that they don't have enough energy to take out both my Jellicent and my Bastiodon, but I'm definitely in Ice Punch range. I have the move loaded, and I'm going to throw. And then they end up throwing a Shadow Claw, which is weird. So maybe they didn't have it doubled up. We end up taking it out. Don't ask me why I throw Stone Edge. I like the BM sometimes, I guess. Yeah, so that was a funky match on both ends. I don't know if either of us played it really well, but here's what it is. Whiscash lead. If you land a Shadow Ball, you pretty much win this, and I think most Whiscash users, especially at this ELO range, knows that. So they typically shield the first potential Shadow Ball. Makes my life a lot easier. A lot of times, Whiscash leads have a Gligar on the back or something else that beats Bastion. So maintaining switch advantage and winning this lead matchup is actually quite important for this team composition, at least based on what I've seen. So, Whiscash is definitely going to go down. Most people don't double shield. They have their own Lickitung. So, I'm going to bank up some energy first and then swap. Means that Jellicent actually has a decent amount of play in the back end. My Bastion's fantastic into the back end matchup. So, maybe they stay in and draw out this mirror match, and that's fine because Switch Timers will be realigned by then. Or they eventually swap out, and that's fine too. The most important thing is I want to get my Bastion on their Lickitung, or just completely expend their Lickitung. Mainly because they're weak to Jellicent in the back. So if they came in Lickitung, my Jellicent's going to have some play for whatever's third. But whatever they have in the back is also weak to Lickitung, so could be like a Ghost type, a Trevenant, whatever. Ends up being Skeldurge, so they just top left after that, which is understandable. Skeldurge is pretty tough to run into this entire team. Your best matchup is Lickitung, which is not a great one. Alright, Lanturn lead. This is, like I said, kind of a core breaker for the team, especially in the lead. This Annihilape is running Night Slash instead of Shadow Ball. Or it still could be running Shadow Ball, but I think, based on my experience, I think all the Night Slash Primeapes are running Night Slash and Ice Punch. There's not really a reason to throw Ice Punch into my team composition, so I never really know what their second attack is, but it's never Shadow Ball. So I'm going to shield the first potential Shadow Ball if it was, but it wasn't. They do boost, but luckily the boost damage isn't too consequential. And I get a Shadow Ball off. I'm going to try to go for both, right? Because this does a decent amount of damage. Or we could draw a shield, which is fine too. They end up not shielding, ends up being a Trevenant. So this is kind of interesting. So Shadow Ball is going to do a decent chunk of damage. We do shield it, which is nice. And then I have the Flamethrower for it, which is fantastic. They are, yeah. So I think maybe I go for the Smackdown all the way. No, I'll just go straight for the Flamethrower. Their Lanturn's quite low, actually, so that's should quite fine. And then they're forced to throw their energy right away. But the Smackdown is definitely going to add up. And yeah, we finish it off. So Lanturn lead. Pretty rough for the team, but it's very beatable, actually. If they have Water Gun, you could definitely stay in with Jellicent, but every Lanturn I've seen, at least in GBL this season, has been Spark. So, but just something to know if you want to wait like a turn just to see if it's Spark or not. All right, Annihilape lead. I don't love bringing Bastion straight into the Lickitung just because you could definitely get farmed down quite easily, and I only have really one check to Lickitungs or Annihilape, so pivoting out isn't maybe the best play. But at the same time, or so it looked like they actually swap, which is actually pretty good because I could realign the timers by throwing this move, and then now I come in with my Jellicents. They have Night Slash again, so not a big deal. No Night Slash Annihilape. I'm gonna optimize a little bit, get a little bit extra energy before throwing. But yeah, again, Licktung's usually pretty good against checking whatever's in the back that's strong into Bastiodon. And as you can see, this is actually a great example of that as well. They have the Lanturn. And Lanturn's definitely going to struggle into this Lickitung matchup. I'm going to shield the potential Thunderbolts. Going to do the most amount of damage for sure. That's exactly what it is. And looks like, looks like they're trying to go for a combo play. Doesn't quite work out. But they do actually get a decent amount of energy with this Lanturn. And it looks like, unfortunately, I was denied a lick as well, so I couldn't really do anything. And then I think I overtapped, or I don't know, the game lagged, but I was trying to optimize a little bit, and I did the opposite. So yeah, this is coming down to the wire. Actually, go for another Thunderbolt, and unfortunately, we just barely lose out on that one. I really didn't think it was possible I was going to lose that one, but well played by my opponent. Even if I had like a denied lick or whatever, at the end of the day, like, those things happen to everyone, so it kind of evens out. Like, yes, I lost that one. Maybe I wouldn't have if I got the lick through, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure I've won plenty of games where I was able to like deny them a fast attack when they came in, right? So that's the best way I like to think of it, to not tilt too much. Kind of all evens out, I think, unless you're playing on really potato Wi-Fi. All right, so Wigglytuff in the lead. They actually pivot back over, so I'm thinking, oh shoot, they have what, 2 counters to the Jellicent maybe, and they're pivoting out with the Poliwrath, which it's not the end of the world. Hopefully I can have enough energy to deal with it with the Bastion. But yeah, I'm going to go for the Smackdown. Icy Wind's honestly helping me a little bit in this regard because it's giving me more chances to farm. They come in actually Whiscash. So super weird play by them, but maybe they kind of overthought it. They had a Wigglytuff in the lead, a Poliwrath, and a Whiscash in the back. They had the Poliwrath on my Lickitung, and they could have had just the Whiscash on my Bastion. I think if they just played a straight ABB style, gameplay, they would have been fine. But they went kind of funky with it for some reason. So I'll take it though. I mean, as someone that's completely hard team comped and countered, yeah, it's not too bad. It's definitely not over yet. Whiscash is still quite strong. I go for the common play, but they actually throw the Mud Bomb before I can get it off. So there goes pretty much 100 energy wasted. That being said, Jellicent is still fairly bulky, and I just barely get the Surf off. But yeah, definitely a win that I wasn't expecting to get. But, even at the highest of ELO ranges, people make mistakes, right? And obviously it's GBL, so they didn't actually know what I had in the back. So a 4-1, could have been potentially a 5-0, but a 4-1, pretty solid overall. And then this is a core breaker that I was not anticipating either. The Greedent actually could beat all 3 Pokemon, actually. So fantastic into the Jellicent and the Lickitung, but also actually could beat Bastion, especially with the Trailblaze. It just pays so quick. So that's why I go for a chip and dip strategy. Sorry, there's just like cat hair all over me. But this is a really tough matchup in general. Yeah, so please, hopefully no one's running Greedent after this video, but Greedent is pretty nasty for my entire team. So is Obstagoon. I've only seen one this season. I almost beat it, but, all my teams are weak to Obstagoon. That being said, we have Lickitung into the Greedent here. Oh my goodness, Cran. Alright. I think she just wanted to sit up. So we're doing definitely some work, though, with the Lickitung. We even forced him to shields, and then, yeah, that Trailblade does a ton of damage. Wow. Okay. I thought I was going to catch a Body Slam, but ends up being a Trailblaze. So, we come in Bastion. Even the Trailblaze does a decent amount to the Bastion. And then now they come in Charjabug, which is super funky to me. I'm actually going to shield, because I think there's actually a lot of play with this Bastion. Now they came in Charjabug into it. I'm going to shield, optimize off that move. Have a huge chunk of health left. And they have a Skeldurge in the back. So, yeah, talk about being very weak to Bastion in the back. But, yeah, panned out quite well. So, despite the very awful lead, Bastion closed it out for us in the back. All right, Skarmory lead. Again, Skarmory is very strong into Lickitung, so I typically just stay in this situation. Unless they're super weak and I could potentially lick it down or force... And because swapping to Lickitung always is a great strategy if you could draw out their fighters. So it's never a bad idea to eventually swap over to Lickitung if they stay in this matchup. They just completely let their Skarmory go, though, and then they come in with a Lanturn. I think I maybe just swap over. Yeah, just swap over. Just in case they have like it's like a Poliwrath in the back, right? Or a Whiscash. You really want to save the Jellicent for that. They am having a Vigoroth, which again, a fantastic reason to save the Jellicent because they think this thing is definitely going to counter down my entire backline. It's one of the most reliable counters to Lickitung. There's just no way you can switch over it. They actually even end up shielding, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, so this is a tough situation for sure because I don't have a lot of health and they have a lot of energy. Rock Stars are definitely going to add up. But yeah, let's see what we can do here. We're going to throw one Surf. And they have a Lanturn too. Lanturn has a lot of play into both Jellicent and Bastiodon. I'm going to force them to throw the energy if they're going to shield. And then now I come in with the Bastiodon. They actually come in Lanturn. Decent amount of health still remaining. And I think my win con here is to go for farm up to close to 100 energy. I don't really want to get hit by too many serves. Essentially, none of the charge attacks from Vigoroth are going to threaten me. It's really the counters that are. So I'm going to farm up a little bit as much as possible. And then we managed to get to one more Stone Edge. Close it out. Bastion, just a little bit too thick for that Vigoroth to handle, which worked out perfectly. Charjabug, decent amount in the lead. Poliwrath safe swap, or counter swap, I should say. Pretty tough. I'm a bait here because a lot do tend to shield. They end up shielding. This seems to be a Scald, or has Scald energy, so I end up shielding as well. If I can land a Power Whip, this definitely changes things. So I do get the Power Whip off. If they double shield, that's also fantastic. They don't double shield. The no debuff from Scald is also super helpful. I know this is not a Scald, it's just an Icy Wind. I could lick, and now I have alignment, which is absolutely massive. I don't get the body slam off, but that's fine. And then now they have a Lone Sand Slash, but this is going to be the Powder Snow variant, which Jellicent's going to play even more favorably into. I wanted to shield the Drill Run early because that's going to be the harder hitting move for sure on Jellicent. I just need to take out this Lone Sand Slash no matter what. So yeah, Drill Run's going to do a good chunk of damage, but we have a ton of energy. Optimizing your charge attacks is definitely very important for just this team in general, but PvP overall. We get to the back-to-back Surf though with good timing, and then that's game. They had us hard countered, but if you can win switch with that Lickitung, definitely go for it. I was a little slow to start this game. I was just like watching a YouTube video and I didn't realize it started, so I think they got like 1 or 2 mud shot ahead of me. I don't know. Definitely something worth looking at if you want to kind of slow it down. That being said, overall this is not too bad of a match, especially if you start the match on time. But we really just want to get rid of this Stunfisk if we can. I don't know if it's possible, honestly, in 2 shields, especially if I'm down energy. I haven't played this matchup in a long time, so I don't really know off the top of my head. But yeah, they're going to double shield as well. And unfortunately, it's going to be a charge attack priority. This charge is definitely going to take me out. So we're going to just do what we can with the Lickitung and hope for the best. Yeah, unfortunately, watching a YouTube video while GBLing might cost me. But we shall see what they have in the back. Oh, okay. I think Cranberry's done. All right. What do they have in the back? It's a Skarmory and a Lickitung. So Bastion completely core breaking the back end matchup, which is fantastic for me. Lickitung just can't really do too much into Bastion. Yes, it has a lot of play with the Power Whip and the Lick damage, but there's just way too much health in defense on the Bastion for the Lickitung to get through. People always ask me about like breakpoints or Shadow Bastion. Always run the higher stat product, the higher rank non-Shadow, in my opinion. The whole point of Bastion is for the bulk. I'm throwing a Flamethrower just in case they go for the what do you call it? In case they go for a catch on the Skarmory. But yeah, we have a ton of energy remaining on the Lickitung. This is definitely not over, but the resisted Body Slam and the neutral licks are definitely going to add up. And they pretty much have to go Brave Bird take me out, which will put him in Smackdown range. If they go Sky Attack, it's pretty much over. That's what they do, and we get the full lick down. Alright, I think this is the final battle of these 15 battles. 3 sets. Annihilape, they come in and with Lickitung, I'm going to instant swap to Bastiodon. I don't want the switch timers misaligned too much. So this is a fine matchup that could make sure I win. The most important part for this matchup is to ensure that I have as little health as possible on my Bastion afterward, because I don't want to be counted down and get hit by Shadow Ball, Night Slash, whatever they have. So that's why I'm going to farm a little bit extra. If they somehow try to shield and win alignment, I can always just smash shields and I'll be okay. That being said, we get to pretty much max energy and that finally throw. Doesn't really matter how much our charges should knock out. I don't think I get to a flamethrower in time, but that's totally fine. And they're staying in this matchup, which is kind of interesting. So I'm going to shield the potential Shadow Ball, and ends up being Night Slash, so that makes my life a little bit easier, because, again, I haven't seen a Night Slash Shadow Ball user. It would make a lot more sense for them to have Ice Punch instead of Shadow Ball. It just gives them better coverage for Gligar, which is a decent amount in this meta. That being said, I don't have to shield the Night Slash, at least this one, in case they boost. They don't boost, but I'm going to shield the second one for sure. Yeah, I really don't want Lickitung on this. And also, based on the way they're playing this out, it makes me think that their backline Pokemon is actually not that strong into Jellicent. Ends up being a Shadow Skarmory. So this is interesting for sure. Skarmory, again, is very strong into Lickitung, but luckily it is the Shadow variant, so it's actually taking quite a bit of damage. And at this health range, even Lickitung can finish us off, and my opponent knows it. And so, in our final set, at the highest elo we've reached this season, we go 5-0 to just close it out at 32-78. Team was absolutely fantastic, and honestly, I'm going to probably keep playing it unless everyone just starts running Greedent for whatever reason, or Obsidian. I'll include a little bonus footage of my final battle when I hit Legend. 4-0 so far. We need this 5-0. All right, it's an up pair too, and they're trying to get to Legend, and it's not a great lead for me, so that's always fun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we'll tank it. Same thing. If they don't shield, then we just shield and win. 1. They have to shield this, I think. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, it's not good. 9. Alright, they were 2 over. I need to throw this stuff right away. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, if I waited one more, then they would have got it off. Alright, this could be kind of bad. Bastion counter. Oh, it's not. Incredible. Incredible. Okay. We'll let this go. I think we just saved the shield for the Jellicent. That's what we need. No one's ready for the Basti. This is still actually not over for sure. Alright, I had to shield this one. Okay, they go Shadow Ball again, which is fine. So we didn't like waste our shield earlier. Or yeah, we didn't waste a no shield earlier. Okay, we need to do as much damage as we can here. I can't swap out either because I'm just going to lose Charge Attack priority to this Lickitung later. So I just need to make the most of this Basti and then go Jellicent. It's going to be close though. They're fighting for Legend too, so I know they want this just as bad as I do. Oh, they let a full smackdown through. It's massive. Can I get the Stone Edge off? That's a real question. I don't think I... Oh! Nope. Not quite. That might be game. Alright. We need to get to 2 Surfs. At a minimum. Maybe more than that. Okay, we get to both. Moment of truth. We'll see after this first surf how much it does. We did it! 5-0! Oh my gosh. What did we do? We climbed like 200 points in 4 sets? That's nuts. 3 sets maybe? I don't know. Keep it secret for a few more days. Let's see what I can do. All right. Bam! We did it. Wow. What a grind it was this season, but we made it happen, and we just used the team we've just been using, you know? All right. Let's take a look at our run, actually. I'm actually genuinely curious. 5-0, 4-1, 5-0. Thank you all for watching. Best of luck if you end up running this team yourself. If you do well with it, please let me know. If you don't do well with it, please let me know as well. I'm sure there's something that we can definitely review. Feel free to submit a video on Critique Corner using a team if you would like me to see how you played out these battles. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and share. Subscribe for future content. Hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video. And I'll catch you all next time.